Hey, what's up, guys? Just continuing with Goblin because Goblin's such a major group. Unfortunately, on this compilation, which is the only other one I have, I lost the other one that had a lot of big songs on it. I don't have Suspiria, right? The main theme song for Suspiria, which I said in the other video is kind of like a proto black metal song, right? With the vocals, right? The witch, right? But there's a little refrain from here. Look, listen. Right, remember? That's the Suspiria theme. Right? And the witch like, right? Yeah. Thought that was cool. Oh, we got the funky bass. It's funny how prog rock and funk bass is kind of linked, right? If you ever watch Roger Waters play, the guy can funk out on the bass. But I'm just talking about the bass guitar, which I'm a big fan of. I'm gonna play another song from them. This is actually from their solo album, where it was all original stuff. Yeah, this was great. If you go on YouTube, you can find Roller. I would recommend the Japanese vinyl rip if they still have it up. Really good songs on there. You want to talk about, they're just the soundtrack band. I know there's another album, but Roller is like the prime lineup. And I recommend you check that out. Roller is great. All instrumental. One thing I'll say too for Goblin, and in terms of, you want to talk about speed. When they would speed up, right? You can say that about other prog rock bands, but Goblin in particular, they were, when the heavy metal songs weren't really fast, they did really fast music, when they wanted to go when they would go at it. So I just thought that was an interesting thing to bring up that I've never heard anyone else bring up. Yeah, listen to this piano. Yeah, it's very nice, very mellow, good contrast. Okay, but always a dark tone to it. Even something like this. Okay? Yeah, mellow, right? Now, something I didn't realize. I guess I wasn't, I didn't know all. I know the guys were in the band. Of course, Klaus Simonetti's the biggest guy known, but some of the best Goblin work. Well, I'll go into it. Alright, so at some point in the late 70s, Simonetti goes solo, leaves the band, did a lot of disco work. There's all kinds of projects he did. Italo disco is a whole other thing that I like that you probably won't. But in terms of the band continued. They continued making soundtracks. Of course, this is from Contamination, which is like an alien ripoff. A crazy movie, great friggin' movie, actually. Also, this music was stolen for a movie I like a little better, Hell of the Living Dead, which I made a video of about 2 years ago. I should put that back up for fun, but now Klaus Simonetti's out of the group, okay? But Maurizio Guarini, excuse me, is on the synthesizers now, and he actually had worked with the group throughout the decade. He became the main synth guy. Some of the best work, listen to this, some of the best Goblin soundtrack work was with this guy. I'll argue with it's very synth driven at this point. It's already like the 70s into the 80s going, right? Disco, everything is big. This Blue Omega, if you're familiar with that film, Beyond the Darkness, it was called Buried Alive, if you rented it from the video store, and a couple other tracks. Yeah, Maurizio Guarini, man, a lot of credit to him. This was some of the best work. Simonetti came in later, and of course we all know the whole thing with Goblins is different. There's like two different bands. The guitar player recently died. Rest in peace. So there's always like two Goblins. You know how it is. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Maurizio Guarini because he doesn't get mentioned a lot. This is some of the best stuff they did. And meanwhile, listen to the bass and the drums. Now, just one more quick shout out. There's a band I lost the CD. I know you're like, why are you losing all your CDs, dude? I moved around a lot. What can I tell you? That band Zombie, right? Steve Moore, that guy, what's his name? AJ Patera, the guys from Pittsburgh. That album Cosmos, man. That was a great album with this kind of music, this kind of era of not just Goblin, but also like Tangerine Dream and Fabio Frizzi. Great stuff, man. That's another shout out to Zombie. I gave this duo, who also, of course, does a lot of their own solo projects. But just giving a shout out to them and a shout out to this era of Zombie, which did some of the best synth work. Anyway, of course, the big dog. Zombie, the band I had mentioned before, which sort of brought back this whole Italian horror prog soundtrack style that now everybody's doing. They took the name of the original, well, the Italian name of Dawn of the Dead, Zombie. This is actually, I got this years ago, man. This is actually an Italian import. I forgot how much I paid for it, but all the tracks are here. All in Italian, right? L'alba dei morti viventi, right? It's morti viventi, living dead. Dun, dun. And just listen to this, man. I mean, you probably heard this, but the atmosphere, the simple bass line, right? The slow beat. I told you how they play fast, but then they can also really slow it down. Rhythm, like the dying heartbeat of somebody infected with a zombie virus. And then Claudio comes in with a nice, gothic melody. Right? Here we go. Look at this. Brilliant film. You should see all the versions of Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, dude. Did I tell you they could play really fast too? In fact, they were faster than most metal bands or other rock bands. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's a proggy riff. That's not easy to play. Rush would want to try to play it out. Yeah, what's up? Disco time, baby. Now, of course, the age I am, I grew up with disco music. I grew up in New York, right? The old KTU, the old KISS FM, the old BLS. I know you're all like, what kind of dissident are you? The point I'm making is that when I was growing up, the best horror movies, the nastiest horror movies, and when the commercials would scare me, were coming out around the time that disco was on the radio. So whenever I hear disco music, I always have a link in my mind of disco music and horror, okay? Synthesizers, electronic music, disco music, and horror, okay? I don't associate horror and heavy metal as much until much later. Anyway, that's my little useless observation about a personal thing that you probably don't care about. But anyway, okay. Now, I used to kind of be okay. what kind of thing is this on a horror soundtrack? Why would they have this in Dawn of the Dead? Of course, this is the scene where they're in the gun store. Remember Peter? He's like, remember that cool line Peter had? And he's looking at that expensive rifle. It's like, it's a shame. He says, what is he? A paraphrase. He's like, the only guy that could miss with this would be the sucker with the bread to buy it. Right? That's what he said. I always remember that line. The only guy that would miss with this gun is the sucker with the bread to buy it. Funny line, but in some ways, well, I always wondered why this song was in this thing. I thought it distracted from the other music, but I don't know. Anyway. I'll let the music speak for itself. From Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, it's a hot track too. I don't remember seeing this on the regular print of Dawn of the Dead. I think this might be on the zombie, the Dario Argento cut. Of course, as we know, Dario Argento helped produce this film. Should I go to the mall? My buddy, one of my good friends, actually recently went by the Monroeville Mall, which I pass when I go to visit a friend in Pittsburgh. He went there, and there's actually a little museum for George Romero there. Maybe I'll stop by there this October. So I'm planning to go out there. So will I do it? I don't know. But anyway, that's Zombie. Great band, great music, important influence on my sound, believe it or not. How is a non-musician to kind of try to emulate this? We shall see.